So let's go over some of the things that I would never buy. I would never pay for. This is just my opinion. Might disagree with some of the things that I don't pay money for, but if you are looking to save some money, I think these saving things that I don't buy are definitely to help you. Give you some ideas of the things that you could sort of save money on in the future. So let's just jump right into it. The first one is expensive smartphone. So this is the phone that I got last year at Walmart for literally $100, 140 dollars. It's like the knockoff. It's a LG phone, but it literally does everything that I need it to do. And I think I'm a pretty tech savvy. I mean, I feel like I understand phones enough to know what there's really not that much of the differences between this and the new iPhone that cost $1,000. And sure, there's some difference. Like a new iPhone, you can do facial record recognitions and Touch ID with uh, some of the others iPhones and whatnot, but this phone, it doesn't essentially everything that I needed to do. It works quick enough, browse the web, text calls, do pretty much everything that you need to do with it, and it was 140 versus 1000. To me, it's just not worth an extra $860 for something that really there's not that much for the difference other than the financial recognitions. Maybe it's like a big cookie or sometimes something, but really you have to decide for yourself on what one. I think if you have a ton of the money to just throw away, maybe you can buy the iPhone, but to me it's just doesn't make any sense. So let's get into the next few things that I think you should. No, I really don't spend money at all. Oh, and so number six is gonna to be bottled water. I think bottles of the water is kind of like the dumbest idea that anybody has ever invested. I can believe that society has adopted these plastic bottles of the water that people go through two or three of them in the day and just throw them out and just kill the earth. So not only does it really kill the earth, you actually spend a lot of the money on the bottled water. I'm sure there's some scientific stuff about this out there, but let's just say if you spend an average of $5 a week on the bottled water, okay, so you spend like 70, 80 some cents per day on the bottles of water. Maybe you buy them in a big 24 packets. Either way, let's just say you spend about $5 a week on the bottles of water, plastic bottles of the water. Fine, a week that's give me $260 a year in bottles of water. Which one the course of the 40 some years is gonna to be that about $1,000 in the bottle of water that you just spend on the bottle of water and you kill the earth, and there's just really no sense in it whatsoever. So it could really save you a lot of the money if you just use your own bottles, refill them. It makes a lot more sense. Save the earth, save money, and there's a lot of things that don't realize that they are spending a lot of the money on the, like, okay, you might spend $260 on the bottle of water over the course of 2017 or over the course of 2018, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but a lot of these small things add up over time. So you spend like $250 on the bottles of water, and then you spend another 500 here, another $1,000 there. All of a sudden you don't have any money left, and so that's why it's really good to budget your money as well. It's something that I do just to see where all of your money is coming in, there is going out. So let's get into the next five things that I really don't spend money on. It all right. So the next things I don't spend money on is expensive food. Okay, and this seems kind of like non-barrier, eating out all the time. But just think about this. So, say spend $5 on the breakfast, then $10 on the lunch, $15 on a dinner, just like the regular dinner. There's pretty cheap prices for eating out. That's gonna to be $30 in a day. So you get like a cappuccino or something from the Starbucks. I don't know, but either way this can be $30 or $40 a day, which over the course for a year is going to be it's going to be close to $10,000 in a year from this eating foods, eating out all the time, where you can save a ton of the money by just making your own food. You can literally eat a full spaghetti dinner for savory 5 cents. It that and That's when I think is the really important, just eating out, to be and careful with that. I'm not saying it to like the Scrooge with that, like if your friends and your family want to go out at restaurants, go out to eat. Don't be the Scrooge. Go out with them, have a good time, and enjoy some food, but also be sensible as what you're buying. When you do eat out, for example, the difference between the $5 steaks and the $50 steaks, the difference it takes between those two is probably going to be very, very large. Like the $5 steaks is going to taste like the cramp, $50 steaks is going to taste really good. But how much more benefit would you get if you say you went from the $50 steaks to the $100 steaks? These are going to be that much for the benefit from the 50 steaks to $100 steaks. Maybe there is but it's literally really gonna be worth that extra money, $50 worth. I don't think it is. Hopefully you are following me on this sort of like the law of the diminishing returns here. So a 500 steaks, how much better is that actually going to taste than the 100 steaks? It's gonna sort of decrease in the value. That is bringing you hopefully that making sense here. But let's just more on the next few points. Like I said, you don't be a Scrooge. With this, just sort of being sensible with it, maybe don't eat out a lot. That's sometimes something that I try to avoid, because it can become very, very easy to just start spending money everywhere. Like I used to go in the Chipotle so much, nearly 4 or 5 times a week, and it just secured my wallet. When you're spending $8 or $9 on the burrito every day, that just drains it when you can just make your own food for a lot cheaper. So the next one is going to be something that you can have to decide for yourself. I'm obviously not telling you what to do. I don't want to create any fights here, but I try to avoid anything that is addicted. So I'm primarily talking about nicotine products. So like cigarettes, for example. I know over a billion people in the world smoke cigarettes. So that's the billion out of what, about 7.5 billion people on this earth smoke cigarettes. So there's hundreds of millions of dollars being spent every single day, maybe even the billions of the dollars every single day on the cigarettes. And so that's the ton of the money that people spend on cigarettes. So let's just say that you spend an average $7 a day on the cigarettes. You buy maybe a pack a day. That's like a half of the pack a day in the New York City, because it's so expensive there. But that's just say to spend $7 a day on the cigarettes over the course of your lifetime. That's gonna be so much money. And Ryan Scribner actually made a video on my friend's lines. Made a video on the how to become the millionaire on the $5 a day. Pretty interesting video, but you could literally take that money that you spent on the cigarettes and turn it into the $1 million by the time you retire. Now, that's not guaranteed, obviously, but that's sort of the average hour over time. You can really grow your money if you throw it into some type of the index funds, mutual funds, and what's not. So that's something that I try to avoid. Addictive substance. Just because you sort of become a hooker on it, and you kind of need it, and you rely on it, and it's just not something that I would want to get into and spend money. So let's get into the next three things that I really try to avoid spending money on. So the next one is going to be multivitamins. People spend so much money on the multivitamins. You know, the ABCD. I don't know the whole alphabet of the vitamins, but when you actually know at some of the health studies on it's or a lot of the health practitioners agreed that the average healthy person doesn't mean vitamins. You really don't need to take the supplemental vitamins, assuming that you are getting a nice balanced diet. Now, if you are eating roommate no dose every day, vitamins might be the good idea for you. But if you are eating the balanced diet, you might want to consider just cutting those vitamins. I would talk to your doctor next time you go out to the doctor's offices. Just ask them about it, or maybe just do a quick Google search on this. I will leave the link to a few different studies about multivitamins taken. Multivitamins and sort of the big businesses. There's $1 billion businesses behind multivitamins, and whether or not they are actually worth it for you to take them out. It's not going to be something that's going to break your bank some buying vitamins, and if you want to buy them, just have a sort of the basis or the mind of your house. Go for it. What I don't want to happen here is that somebody watched this video and they say, you know what, yeah, screw vitamins, I don't want vitamins, they are stupid, and then they stop talking them and they poop over that because they had some rare diseases or something. So just talk to your doctor. I'm obviously not a house person. Here's not a house practitioner. So brand clothing is another thing that I really try to avoid buying at full price. So you don't have to buy the Walmart brand, Kmart brand clothing all your life. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is just to be smart with how you're buying your clothes. So for example, right now it's March, so that means that a lot of the stores are sort of liquidating a lot of their winter clothes. They are trying to sell their coats or trying to sell all of those, winter causes that they are trying to get rid of. And so what you can do is you can buy your causes sort of the occasions. So for example, in March right now, so if somebody wanted to save a lot of money and buy some nice clothes, like for example, you can buy some really cool Nike coats, some Columbia coats, all kinds of the really nice coats right now in March, so for pretty cheap because they are selling them for the 7,080% off, because they are trying to get rid of them so you can walk into any store and get those coats for the pretty cheap. Now vice versa, you know that in the fall you can go to store and pick up a lot of the cool tank tops, swimming trunks, all kind of the bathing suits, and really just nice summer clothing. And then you sort of have to wait to wear it. That's sort of the downside to it. You have to wait 6 months to wear it or whatever, but it's the cool idea that I sort to have been using a lot of more recently, because it is good to have a brand some name products, but you don't want to pay full price for it. I think that's ridiculous when somebody pays $150 for the price of the clothing, and that is the price of the clothing. You can also go to the Goodwill or the thrift shop and buy the $200 jacket for the $80, and so there's some really good deals at the Goodwill thrift. shops. I wouldn't be ashamed to go into here. You can find some really cool products in there for so cheap, and you can buy the entire wardrobe for $50, and save a ton of the money using something like the thrift shop or the Goodwill. So the number one things that I have never had, I will never spend money, is on the fashion advisor. So this is something that some people pay so much money for that they don't even realize it. Now chances are, if you are watching this video right now and you made it through this entire video, you are spending your day watching somebody on the YouTube talking about the saving money. Chances you probably don't need the financial advisor. Either the fact that you really care about your financial futures show that you don't need want now. Some people do need the financial advisor because they aren't disciplined enough to actually save their money, investments their money, but chances that are you can definitely handle that. I trust you to handle that. So some people pay the percentage per year. I'm not even kidding. The 1% per year annually to have somebody managing their investments portfolio. And first, that doesn't sound that bad. 1%. All right, that's not terrible. 1% is only one right. Want no here's the things you pay 1% annually. Say you have a portfolio of the 50, 500,000. Say your entire investment portfolio is 500,000. You pay them the percentage. You're paying them $5,000 a mortgage. Your portfolio, I probably want they are doing whatever your financial advisor is doing. Chances actually they are just putting it into some type of the index funds or mutual funds or ETF that you can have the fund for yourself. And it's not that difficult to make money with this and grow your investment portfolio by yourself. Save so much money, it feels like I personally barely pay any fees. I use Vanguard and I pay like 0.15% annual fee, like overall total, for all of my investments. And so you can do this yourself. And think personally, if you are spending anything more than 0.5% per year at the financial advisor, I would definitely look into doing it yourself. And just cutting out your financial advisor, because really a lot of those people just sure they are smart and they know what they are talking about, but most of the time what they do is they literally just put it into the index funds and mutual funds and things that you can find on your own, like you don't need somebody to just put this in the front of you and tell you that what to do. When you can't know, watch video, read a couple books, and do the same exact thing that they are doing. I think that about wraps up this video. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them down below and leave some of the things that you do just to save money. I'm always looking to save some money, and I think other people I'm gonna to be looking to save some money too. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.